welcome back to my channel. Today is, I guess, going to be a part 2 to my review of the Revolution Good Vibes collection. I've got with me the Blowout Mascara and the Forever Flawless Chilled Palette. If you'd like to see my swatches of the lip balms, I will put that up in the cards for you. But yeah, today we've got 2 items and I've got some thoughts. I've definitely got some thoughts, but I'm going to keep it impartial. We are going to start with the boring stuff. I'm going to give you all of the details of the products. Then we'll jump into the makeup, which as you can see, I've already got on, which I don't normally do, but I have... How many attempts have I had at filming this video? I think this might be my 4th attempt at filming this video, so I figured I would do the makeup first, make sure that I could get through it, and then kind of work my way backwards. There will be timestamps in the description bar so that you can skip ahead at any point, but I think we should just jump into the details of the products and get started. I'm going to do the mascara first because that's going to be really quick. This is the Revolution Blowout Mascara. It retails for £8. Like everything else in this collection, it contains cannabis sativa. I don't actually know what it does in the mascara because it is not specified online. You're getting 8 grams, which I feel like mascara is normally measured in milliliters, so there's Revolution with those weird measurements again. And it promises thicker and more voluminous lashes. So that's the mascara, nice and easy. And then we have the eyeshadow palette. So this falls in the Forever Flawless range. I already have the Ice palette from that range. I did a review on it. I absolutely love it. It is by far my favorite Revolution eyeshadow formula. As with the other palettes in this range, you get a plastic sleeve, and then inside you get the lovely tin. I personally really like these because they're quite, like, they're not super easy to open, which I feel like if you were to travel with this palette, it's not gonna burst open in your bag. It feels nice and solid, and I really like that. On it, you've got the, what's the best way of describing it? Very psychedelic packaging with the multicolored leaves. So in case you weren't sure what the theme of this collection was, you definitely know from this. On the back, you've got a little bit of information about the product. So again, the eyeshadows contain cannabis sativa. You're getting 18 shades. It's cruelty-free and vegan. You've got a little diagram of the palette here. They've numbered all of the shades, and 3 of them have an asterisk. That usually means that they are pressed pigments, but in the case of this palette, it's because they're pressed glitters, which is pretty exciting. Not included on the back of the palette for some reason, but on the plastic packaging we have the weight. You're getting 1.1 gram per shadow, and the palette retails for £10. When you open the palette up, inside first of all you've got a lovely big mirror, so again if you want to go traveling, that's absolutely perfect. And then again you've got a plastic sleeve inside, and then here we go, here are the 18 shades. The names are written inside the tin, which we always like. You're getting 6 matte shades, which are Natural, Leaf, Plant, Burn, Relax, and Cool, and they're easily recognizable because they have the leaf imprinted into them, although you can barely see them on the green shades already because I have used this palette a couple of times. We then have the 3 pressed glitters, which are Hybrid, Goddess, and Bud, and then we have Dope, Acapulco, Calm, Puff, Candyland, Sativa, Haze, Mist, and Exhale, which are our shimmer shades. You do have a nice variety of shades in here. We've got some greens, we've got some golds, we've got some cooler tones. When I first saw this announced, my immediate thought was the Melt Smoke Sessions palette, which does also have the leaf imprint on the shadows. I have been told by someone who owns the palette that they aren't that similar. I don't own it, so I absolutely cannot compare. As usual with Revolution, just looking at the colours in here, I think it's safe to say that they were definitely inspired by it for this palette. I'm going to insert some swatches here of the eyeshadows, and I will say they swatch beautifully. The mattes, the shimmers, the glitters, they all look gorgeous. Now, do bear in mind that swatches are never an indication of how an eyeshadow is gonna look used with a brush, blended on your eye, but as far as arm swatches go, and compared to other Revolution palettes that I've tried recently, they swatch really, really, really well. I think that's it for the details of the palette then. So we're just gonna jump into the eye look now, and then after that, I'll give you my final thoughts on the palette. And well, I'd say it's definitely an adventure. Before we do this eyeshadow, I'd just like to let you guys know that fake blood will stain, and as you can see, the P. Louise base will not cover it. Thought you might all like to know. Anyway, let's just jump into this palette. The first shade that I'm going to use is the shade Natural down here, and I'm going to apply that into my crease using a Zoeva 231. I feel like this look may end up being pretty basic, but at least the green is covering up the fake blood. So the first thing that I will say immediately is that the shades are really nicely pigmented. I mean, look at that. It's doing all the work for me, really. It's going on really, really easily. Yeah, it's a lovely dark forest green. Gonna bring it into my lower lash line as well. Yeah, there we go. So really easy to use, a really lovely level of pigmentation, and really buttery as well. That's gone on really, really easily, no problem at all. Okay, next I'm going to jump into the mid green, which is called Plant up here. Just using that on another Zoeva 231 to blend the first shade out. I would say that this green is maybe a bit more blue toned, like a proper pine green. But when you're popping them on next to each other, I mean, I can't really see any difference between the two. Like, I don't really feel like I'm getting any sort of gradient right now. Definitely not an issue with pigmentation. Like, I can see that there is still colour going on. That's definitely not the problem. I suppose maybe this side looks a bit more blue than the left side does now, but like, if I didn't know, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, I don't think. Okay, for my next shade, I'm going to jump into Leaf, which is the lightest of the three greens. And again, just to blend all of that out, and this time I'll be using a Sigma E36. Okay, I can now definitely see a difference in colour. You can now see a gradient. So it definitely stands out more from the other two. And again, the pigmentation is lovely. It's blending out really, really well. There's really nothing bad to say about the quality of the eyeshadows. It's just that one issue with the previous shades. Okay, so that's it for the three green shades. Overall, they're lovely. You know what? They're really, really nice. They're really pigmented. They're really buttery. They were easy to blend. They're not chalky in any way, so quality-wise, they're really good. And yeah, the gradient looks nice. I just feel like these first two green shades, Natural and Plant, when you put them on your eyes, they really don't look that different, and maybe we could have more of a gradient if Natural was maybe even deeper, or if Leaf and Plant were both a bit lighter. I'm going to deepen it up now. We're going to see how the shades layer on top of each other. So I'm going to use Burn, which is this lovely dark brown. I'm just going to go back into the first Zoeva 231 that I used for that. I've just given it a quick wipe, and we're going to pop that into the outer corner and the crease. So it felt like it needed a little bit of building up at the beginning, but now that it's on there, it's really deepening things up. I feel like maybe these will work better if you're working from darkest to lightest. I don't feel like I'm quite getting everything out of it by adding it on top. I mean, it's working, it's darkening it, but maybe it would have been better to start with it. And then I'm just gonna jump into my other 231 brush that I used to plant with and just help blend that out. Then I'm just going to take it on a very small brush and pop that into the lower lash line. Okay, there we go. So that's really nice now. You know what? I really like it. I feel like adding burn has really given me the depth that I was missing in this look before. It has layered well. I just feel like maybe it would have worked better had I used burn and then the greens, but it's not looking bad. It's not caused me any issues. I'm just thinking maybe it would have been more pigmented. I think this look would be just fine if I used burn, then either natural or plant, and then leaf. I feel like those 3 colors would be enough. I don't feel like I need all 4. I am just gonna cut my crease. I'm gonna be pretty boring, I think, today. I know I always do a half cut crease, and then I think we'll get stuck into some of the shimmers. All right, so I've now cut my crease for my P. Louise base. I just used a little bit more of plant just to blend the edge in a little bit, and a little bit more of burn just to make sure it was nice and deep still. There's a lot of shimmers in this palette. I think I'm gonna go with the golds. I'm gonna start with Acapulco on the inner third. Okay, my brush is picking up none of that. It's the weirdest thing. Let me see if I can show you. But do you see? It's not actually picking up eyeshadow. It feels almost more like a putty. It's so weird. Yeah. It's just so soft. It feels more like the topper shades from the Morphe 39S. They have that very putty-like texture, but they do pick up on a brush. I feel like this one isn't picking up anything. It's so weird. Let's try it. You see, it's not applying anything to the lid. Let's try a different brush, maybe something a bit softer. Oh my god, guys, it's so weird. Are any of the other... It's just that shade. It's still going. It's the weirdest thing. I might just have to use my fingers. Let's try this brush. It's picking up absolutely nothing. Okay, there we go. Here it is on my finger. Okay. It's a little bit disappointing. Let's see if I can fill in the rest with the brush. This one is definitely a cream. I'm gonna just go on the Revolution website quickly and double check my facts because I don't remember seeing this anywhere. This is so weird. Yeah, I'm on the Revolution website right now and there's no information about this one having a different texture to the other ones. It just mentions the matte, the shimmers, and the pressed glitter. Anyway, I feel like that's enough time spent discussing this one. I've dug into it a bit more and it seems to be working now. If you guys have got this palette, like, let me know in the comments if you also have this with this palette because I'm really surprised. I'm now over whatever adventure that was. I've got it on and I'm not super impressed by it. It's just okay for how much work it took me. Anyway, the next shade I'm gonna jump into is gonna be the shade Haze down here, which is the other gold. Let's try that on a flat brush again. It's definitely got a wet texture as well. But like, not on the same level. Let's just see what it applies like. This one is a lot easier to use. It does have a similar texture in the palette, but I can actually use this one. I'm gonna have to pull out my Forever Flawless Ice palette and do a quick compare of the two because I don't remember any of the shimmers being like that in that one. Just jumping into my Zoeva 231 and blending out. yeah, that was an interesting experience. So I've just quickly pulled out my Forever Flawless Eyes palette just to take a look. And if I push like a fingernail in the shimmers on this one, it just starts feeling really dusty, which is what you'd expect from an eyeshadow. Whereas if you push into this one, you're definitely digging in. It's definitely more of a putty. There's no kind of crumbly bits falling out. I'm wondering if it's because of the sativa oil. I don't know. It's not a consistency I've ever noticed in any of my other Revolution eyeshadows. Mind you, like, I've just put my finger in half and that one's crumbled a bit more, so maybe it's just these two. Just going around just putting my finger in all of them. That one's not crumbling. Yeah, it's weird. Well, I've ruined all the eyeshadows now, you know, for the purpose of science, but I think I should just move on, to be honest, and just carry on with this look, persevere, and then really gather all of my thoughts at the end. So yeah, I'm just gonna go and apply some liner and I'll be right back. I've absolutely ruined this palette. Look at the state of it. Anyway, so I've just applied a little bit of Inglot eyeliner, the gel one, which is just my absolute fave. I've just smoked it out into the outer corner. I think I'm going to try to have Goddess and Bud. So Goddess on more of the inner corner part and Bud more in the middle, because these are honestly the most enticing part of the palette, and I feel like if I don't use them, I'm just missing out. I'm going to use the NYX Glitter Primer as my base. I'm going to use a small flat brush to come and dab it on the liner. And the liner should act as a really good base to really help the glitters pop, I'm hoping anyway. I'm going to start with Bud in the middle on a really small brush. This is gorgeous. You probably won't be able to see it on camera, I'm guessing, but it's absolutely lovely. And then I'm just going to use the same brush. I'm going to take Goddess on the inside. Okay, the glitter has gone on really well. I think they are absolutely lovely. I can't tell on camera if you can tell the difference between the two shades. But yeah, they've gone on really well. They do have really good consistency for glitter. Now we get to jump into the Revolution Mascara, which still in its packaging. This is the one item that I haven't touched at all yet. Let's jump in and figure out how to open it. I mean, I will just say, as I mentioned in my previous video, that I'm not a fan of the fact that brands are adding this plastic packaging because it's not recyclable and all that, but I kind of also understand why they do it. But here we are inside the packaging, so this is what it looks like. It's really lovely and reflective. Let's get it open because I'm excited because I've not tried one of their mascaras. It's a lovely big brush. I mean, that is pretty big, but I guess that's following on from their concealers. It's plastic bristles. Yeah, you know what? Let's just get into it. I feel like the bristles are really good for separating the lashes. Is it adding much? No, not really. On the bright side, it doesn't have any clumps. It's hard as well because the look is quite intense, so I feel like it's harder to see mascara over a more intense look. I mean, it's not wowing me. Okay, so I've pulled up the Revolution website. According to this, it should create thicker, more voluminous lashes. I'm not really seeing thickness or volume. I'm seeing length, but not volume. Like, it's not the most exciting mascara I've ever tried. I feel like it's dried quite quickly, so you could apply lashes over it really quickly, but not wowing me. It's nothing particularly exciting. Anyway, that's it for the eyes then. So I'm gonna go and do the rest of my face, and then we'll come back and we'll have a chat about these products because I have a lot to say. Well, have I already said it? I feel like it's gonna be a longer conclusion. Sorry guys. But yeah, I'm just gonna go and do the rest of my face and then we'll come back and yeah, go over my final thoughts on my conclusion on the products. Alright guys, the rest of my makeup is on. I do just want to do one more thing before we jump into my thoughts. If we try one more shade, we've tried half the palette, so I feel like we'll have a pretty good idea of it. So I'm just gonna jump into the shade Calm, which is the lightest golden shade over here, which doesn't feel too putty-like. Feels a bit more dusty. I'm literally just gonna use it in my inner corner. I guess it's pretty. Anyway, I feel like I have some thoughts about this collection. I'm gonna get the mascara out of the way first of all. I think it's a bit boring. Looking at it closer, it's really not done much. For a mascara that says it's volumizing, it's added no volume at all, maybe a bit more length, but it really hasn't wowed me. It's transferred a little bit to the top of the cut crease on this side. It's also transferred a little bit on my under eye over here. It definitely doesn't deliver on what it says it will do, according to the description on the Revolution website. That's that one out of the way. Let's move on to the eyeshadow palette. Let's start with the positives. The packaging on this is lovely, I will give it that. I do love the tin packaging. The mattes are lovely. They did blend really easily. They're pigmented. I think they are possibly nicer than some of the mattes in this one. The glitters are absolutely lovely. I think for pressed glitters, they are stunning. But that's kind of it for my positives. I was really uninspired by this palette. This video should have been out about a week ago and I tried to record it so many times. I didn't like anything I was coming up with. I mean, this looks turned out all right. It's not the best thing I've ever done in my life, but it's okay. It took me about a week of trying again and again to actually get there. There's 18 shades, 6 of them are mattes. 6. That doesn't seem a lot. Natural and plant, as I said, I think they're too similar. I'm going to swatch them next to each other. That's natural there and that's plant there. So plant is more bluey, but they're the same level of tone and I don't really see the point. I'm just gonna compare to the Forever Flawless Ice. So this one has 9 mattes, which is half the palette. I feel like I can do so much with this one, whereas I'm just at loss with this one. I don't understand why there are gold shimmers, but there's no matte yellow. I don't understand the silver glitter. I don't understand why there is no gold glitter. I don't know, there's something that's just not cohesive about this to me. The shimmer formula, what's going on? This was so difficult to use. I'm looking at it now, I can see that it's cracked where I've used Acapulco. I don't know if all the shades are going to be this problematic, but I really struggled with this, and I've not had this problem with any other Revolution palette recently. The only thing that I can think is that this whole range has got cannabis sativa in it. Is that what's done this? Because then I don't want it. I feel like I'm getting really agitated. I feel like Revolution announced the collection and my initial reaction was, oh my god, another one. But then the more I looked at this palette and the more I thought, actually, I want it. I don't have that many greens. It's just not really bringing what I expected to my collection. I really think we should have had 9 mattes. I think we'd be able to do more with it, especially. I mean, this, come on. Guys, I feel like I'm being really negative, but yeah, I'm not getting along with this one. Do not order this online. Go in store, go into Superdrug, try this out. See if you're actually gonna like it, because I really don't know how much I'm gonna reach for this one. I think this is by far my most disappointing purchase from Revolution this year. I feel like Revolution has just jumped on board of some gimmick train and it's not doing it for me. You know what, guys? I really hope that you found this useful. Like I said, I think you'll be better off trying this one in store and seeing if it actually works for you rather than ordering it online. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, do give it a big thumbs up. Definitely leave me a comment letting me know what you think of this palette. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you've made it work for you. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next video, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.